What's going on, guys? In this video, we're going to find out what it would cost every team to trade for Patrick Kane. There's been a lot of trade rumors about him ever since Chicago went full rebuild, trading away DeBrincat and Doc, as well as letting Strome and Kubalik walk in free agency. I know Oilers have been linked to his name, as well as the Leafs, where you guys can see it says Maple Leafs GM Kyle Dubas has had brief discussions with Chicago regarding Patrick Kane. So, it would be pretty crazy to see Chicago trade Patrick Kane, as I would say he's probably the best ever US-born hockey player. Austin Matthews might pass him, but right now I'd say you got to give the title to Patrick Kane. If you guys don't know just how good he's been, he is the leading scorer for all players since 2010 with 950 points, and even since 2016-17, he's third in scoring there behind only McDavid and Draisaitl. So the dude is a very good hockey player. Even this past season at 33 years old, he still put up 92 points in 78 games, so the return for him is going to be big. Now looking at Patrick Kane, guys, in game, you can see here, 32 years old, hasn't had his birthday yet, 91 overall, making $10.5 million for one more year. So this actually should be 2 more years, identical contract to Tays, but I reduced it to 1 to actually make it kind of true to real life if this trade goes down this summer. Also too, guys, if you downloaded my most recent roster, I've actually changed up Kane's stats a bit. I dropped him from a 92 to a 91, as I felt like that was a bit more fair for him since he doesn't really have a great defensive game at all. So you can see there, defensive awareness 85. I also bumped his discipline. It was 70 for some reason, even though the guy doesn't really take many penalties. So I made that an 85. Some slight tweaks here and there. I think he was one of those guys who I saw was 92 overall. I thought, you know what, that's pretty good. But I never really kind of dug into his stats. So there's what he looks like now. Obviously, very, very good player. Tons of X factors. I'm sure you guys saw highest trade value on the Blackhawks. Honestly, if they do trade Kane, they're not going to have any guys left to trade other than, of course, like their prospects and picks, which they're going to be holding on to. So starting off, guys, with the Anaheim Ducks. So what is it going to cost you to get Kane? Definitely, I think, one of Draisaitl, Zegras, or McTavish, plus a first-round pick. So I think any 2023 first-round pick we move, we're just going to pretend is like, you know, top 3 protected, I guess. So the team can still get Bedard, Michkov, Fantilli. So we'll try 2023 first there. I mean, they would never do this trade, but in terms of the value, it'd probably cost, like I said, one of these guys. I see them moving McTavish before they move Zegras. So first-round pick McTavish for Patty Kane. Blackhawks say no. I should mention, guys, it's on medium difficulty. I feel like medium, you know, should give us a pretty good idea. We'll throw in a 2024 second-round pick with that, and they now say yes, but pretty big trade-off there from the Ducks. Alright, guys, so next is the Arizona Coyotes. We're offering up Jacob Chychrun. Another guy's been a bunch of trade rumors. I don't really know why the Coyotes want to trade a young defenseman, but it is what it is. I guess they're just completely tearing that team down. And then a 2023 first. Again, this would be at least top 3 protected, if not top 5 protected, so they could still get like Dalibor Dvorsky at 4. We'll see what the Blackhawks say to this. Trade is rejected. Okay, so I'm thinking probably very similar to the Ducks trade. We'll have to add a second. So we'll throw the second in there, see what they say. Wow, okay, so McTavish does have more value than Chychrun. I mean, the Coyotes aren't going to be giving up 2 first-round picks. Let's try 2 seconds. That gets it done. Alright, guys, with the Boston Bruins next, we're offering up Taylor Hall, Fabian Lysell, and 2 firsts for Patty Kane with $2.5 million retained. Also got to be at least like a top 20 left wing still in the NHL. You also get a top prospect, Fabian Lysell, with the first. See what the Blackhawks say to this one. Trade is rejected. Woefully insufficient. So I think when you're trading for a player with Kane's value, the game basically makes you give up something else that has like a lot of value similar to it. So we're looking at one of the big 3, Marchand, Pastrnak, McAvoy. I guess they could do a trade where maybe, I don't know, they talk to Pasternak's agent, he's going to want like $15 million or something, so they decide we'll trade him instead. But then they definitely need to get more back with Kane, so maybe they go Kane and Reichel. We'll see what they say to this one. Rejected. Don't want to retain salary on a 1 year. Oh my god. Alright, guys, so I threw Thomas Nosek into the trade just to make it work salary-wise. Pastrnak there for Kane and Reichel. See what the Blackhawks say. Trade's accepted. Okay, so I feel like right now, Kane and Pastrnak are pretty similar, but obviously Pasternak's younger, better contract. You do get Lucas Reichel back with it, so interesting one. And next year, guys, making trades the Buffalo Sabres to bring Patrick Kane home. Offering up Alex Tuch, who the Blackhawks want. Solid top 6 right winger. Also Devin Levi here, very good goalie prospect. And then a second-round pick, 2023. If you guys didn't know, Buffalo is stacked with goalie prospects. They got Levi, Luukkonen, Portillo. I feel like they're definitely going to trade one of them very soon. So I don't know if this will go through, but maybe if we add another second, it will. Yeah, so trade's rejected. Buffalo's actually got 3 seconds 2023. So we'll try adding the Philly one first. Still rejected. Philly second 2023, and then we'll do like Buffalo's first 2024 again. Lottery protected. For some reason, Chicago all of a sudden doesn't want the 2023 first. I see their status is actually different. I don't know how that works. Tuck, Levi, a second and a first for Kane. Wow. Let's add another second here. Come on. There we go. And next year, guys, we got the Calgary Flames. For this one, I'm thinking 1-for-1. Huberdeau for Patrick Kane. I feel like some people would take Kane, some people would take Huberdeau. Maybe Treliving decides he wishes he didn't give Huberdeau the extension, so when you just trade him there to the Blackhawks for Kane. We'll see what they say. Trade's accepted. Alright guys, next year's the Hurricanes. We're offering up Nietzsche's, Pacioretty, Anderson for Patrick Kane. I feel like, obviously, Kane's better than Pacioretty. The price to pay to upgrade him is Nietzsche's. You lose Anderson. If Antti Raanta is healthy, you might be okay. It's a lot to give up, but we'll give it a try here. Trade is rejected. Like, that is insane to me. Try throwing on a first-round pick, but I don't know, these Blackhawks GMs have been tough. There we go. With a first, they say yes, but that's crazy. Alright guys, we now have the Stanley Cup champion, Colorado Avalanche, making a big trade. Moving on from the captain, and are adding Alex Newhook to this trade to bring in Patrick Kane. I feel like if I'm the Blackhawks, I say yes to this, but we'll see. Trade is rejected. Newhook and Landeskog is not enough for Patty Kane. That's ridiculous. I'm going to try a second first before we do a first. Okay, so they want a first round pick, it looks like, with Newhook and Landeskog. Probably going to be a late first. They do say yes. Honestly, I really like Landeskog as a player. He's the captain, but Patrick Kane, Nathan McKinnon, Mikko Rantanen, that's like the best line in hockey. It's not even close. Alright guys, next year the Columbus Blue Jackets. You might notice that name in the top right, Nasher. At number 10, he takes over as GM. I think Patrick Kane's one of Nasher's favorite players, so Johnny Gaudreau came in, and immediately Johnny Gaudreau is going to come out. I think Kane's only, what, 4 years older than Gaudreau. In my opinion, a better player right now, obviously not as young, but I mean, Blue Jackets fans freaked out over Johnny Gaudreau. Imagine they bring in a superstar like Kane. I think we actually have a bit more value with Gaudreau, so give us Kane a second round pick back. See what they say to this one. Trade is rejected. Alright, 1-for-1. Gaudreau for Kane. There you go. Alright guys, this next one's kind of interesting. I'm offering up Sagan and Ben as the Dallas Stars with 2 first-round picks for Patty Kane. So obviously Kane's still better than Sagan and Ben. They've kind of fallen off, which makes their contracts pretty bad. This is actually almost a salary dump trade, as they have some term left. Sagan 5 years, Ben 3 years real life. So the 2 first-round picks kind of close the gap talent-wise. It also closes the gap with obviously this being a salary dump. Blackhawks going to have a ton of salary in a rebuild. This is like sort of maybe realistic. I don't know. We'll see what the Blackhawks say to this one. Trade is rejected. The value's too far off. Throw in like a Ryan Suter as well. I know they just signed him, but somebody with some value. Come on. Instead of trading them Jamie Benn, just going to try a second round pick there. It might have more value because, of course, no big contract. And there we go. Trade goes through. So Suter, Sagan, 2 firsts and a second for Kane. Are the Stars better off after that? I mean, probably in the now they are, but obviously that's a lot of futures. And now guys, we have the Red Wings here offering up Tyler Bertuzzi, Philip Zadina, and a first round pick. Again, this would be like a top 5 protected first because the Red Wings might not do great, but if they add Patrick Kane to the team, that should be pretty good. I feel like he's just a big upgrade on Bertuzzi, essentially. Zadina in the first to do that is a pretty decent price. See what the Blackhawks say. Trade is rejected. I kind of figured they would. Now, let's say the Red Wings are doing well next year. They're actually competing. They have 2 mid-20 goalies in Husso and Eljovic. Are they willing to give up a younger goalie in Kosa to really go for it? Maybe they make this trade happen with the Blackhawks. Still rejected. The value of the table is too far off. I feel like this is a pretty good trade. If not, we'll have to give up, I think, either like Raymond or Side or Edvinson. I'm going to try adding another first to this. So Bertuzzi, Zadina, 2 firsts in Kosa for Kane. There we go. And so next year, guys, we're trying to make a trade to the Edmonton Oilers, who again have been in a lot of trade rumors with Patrick Kane. I'm not really sure how we're going to make a trade work. As we have McDavid and Draisaitl each have way more value than Kane, and after that, there's really no one kind of in Kane's zone. So we'll try and see if something can happen here. Alright guys, my starting offer here is Xavier Bourgault, Tyson Barrie, Philip Broberg, and a first round pick for Patty Kane. See what the Blackhawks say. Trade is rejected. I'm going to add another first round pick here. Obviously, this would be a trade where the Oilers are completely going for it. Bourgault and Broberg really aren't on the team yet, so just losing Barrie, who I feel Bouchard can take his place in the power play. Come on. Trade still rejected. Look at this trade, guys. Ryan Nugent-Hopkins, Philip Broberg, Tyson Barrie, Jack Campbell, and a first-round pick for Patrick Kane. Come on. Alright, guys. Next year, I think, is the biggest offer the Oilers can make without including McDavid or Draisaitl. We got Darnell Nurse, Ryan Nugent-Hopkins, Jack Campbell, 2 first-round picks for Patrick Kane. So, a number 1 defenseman, a top 6 center, a starting goaltender, 2 firsts for Patty Kane. What are the Blackhawks going to say here? They actually say yes. Trade finally goes through. I mentioned the Avalanche first line, but imagine if we had a first line McDavid, Draisaitl, Kane. that'd be unstoppable. And now next year, guys, we have the Florida Panthers, another team looking to compete right now, which would kind of justify giving up Spencer Knight, a really good young goalie, to get Patty Kane. I've also got Sam Reinhart there. A mix of like salary would probably be replaced by Kane, has some value, and then a 2026 first. Reason being, in game, Florida has their 2023, 2024, 2025, but in real life they trade all those away. So has to be 2026. The value's on our side. Stay like we have to bring a goalie back, otherwise it won't go through. Here we go. Trade's rejected. So the Blackhawks said no to that trade. Gonna try adding another first round pick here with Knight and Reinhart. Still rejected. Okay. Obviously, Panthers aren't afraid about trading first round picks. Maybe add for Hagee here as well to the deal with Knight, Reinhart, 2 firsts for Patty Kane. It seems like a haul. And there we go, it goes through. Next, you guys with the LA Kings trying to go for it right now, offering up Jonathan Quick there, basically salary dump. Alex Turcotte, Brant Clark. So I feel like with Byfield, Turcotte is expendable. Brant Clark's definitely like their best defensive prospect, but still hasn't made the team yet. I don't know if he will make the team this year. They get Patrick Kane. They're immediately, obviously, more of a contender. Let's see what the Blackhawks say to this one. Trade's rejected. Sweeten the value just a touch, though. I was going to say, pretty good return there. A 3rd round pick, just the touch they need. It is. Okay, there we go. Now, next year, guys, the Minnesota Wild. I'm thinking something along the lines of Marco Rossi, Matt Zuccarello, and a 1st round pick for Patty Kane. See what the Blackhawks say. Trade's rejected. I mean, Minnesota Wild's not going to have a lot of cap space, so they probably do want a lot of good young players. But we'll try doing 2 firsts here instead. And now they say yes. Okay, I mean, obviously, in the meantime, it's a great trade, but going to hurt their future. Alright, guys, now next year, the Montreal Canadiens. Bit of an interesting trade offer. Carey Price makes the exact same amount. And then Kirby Dach, we're sending back to the Blackhawks for Patty Kane. Obviously, Price, when healthy, I think, still a pretty good goalie. Getting up there in age, though. He is a couple years older, actually, than Kane. I don't know. I don't think this one goes through. We'll try. They actually want both Price and Dach. Trade is rejected. I guess we're going to have to throw in, like, a protected 2023 first round pick here. See what the Blackhawks say now. Wow. Okay. Dach, Price, protected first for Patty Kane. And this year, guys, the Nashville Predators offering up Johansson and Askarov for Kane. I feel like both Johansson and Duchesne had bounced back years. Duchesne, though, had 43 goals, so obviously they're going to keep him. Moving on from the $8 million salary. Askarov there, obviously a great goalie prospect, but I never really understand drafting him when you have Saros, a very good goalie, only 26, one of the best goalies in the NHL in my opinion. So I don't think that'll be enough as it is. I'm going to try adding like a second here to start with Johansson and Askarov for Kane. Trade's rejected. I kind of figured it would be. I'll start off by adding a first. We'll try a second first, then we'll probably have to add like Tomasino. Trade's rejected. Okay, so we'll do 2 firsts. Nashville's going for it here if they can get Patty Kane. Try this. Still rejected. Okay, so we'll do a first rounder here with Tomasino, top prospect. All that should get Patty Kane. And it does. And next year, guys, the Devils are offering up Alexander Holtz, Vanacek, and a first round pick. Obviously, Kane is a lot better than Holtz. Holtz could turn out to be a pretty good player. I don't see him ever being Patty Kane, though. And in terms of the goaltending, like with Blackwood, Vanacek, we probably don't need. So, Devils go for it here. See what Blackhawks say. Trade is rejected. Honestly, I'm a little surprised by that. Let's try throwing in like Muka Moldeen. I'll also try throwing in a 2nd round pick, save us a first. And they say yes, okay. Alright, guys, now as the Islanders, we're offering up Semyon Varlamov, 1st round pick, and Brock Nelson. Pretty even salary there, $11 million to 10.5. They want all 3 things. We'll see what they say. Trade's rejected. Obviously, with Sorokin, Varlamov just the backup, definitely expendable. I feel like the Islanders are going for it. Lose one, you go up another first. And the trade is still rejected. Wow, I thought that was pretty fair value. Oh, man, I feel like if they want one of the top players here, we're not going to go Barzal, we're not going to go Pellich. Dobson, Polak. I guess we could give up Polak here instead of Nelson. That's definitely going to hurt our defense, but we'll see what they say. Trade is still rejected, but the value is just a bit low. So we'll throw in a 3rd round pick again. Should get it to go through. There we go. And next year, guys, the New York Rangers were offering up Capo Caco, Jacob Trouba, and a 1st round pick. They want all 3 things. I know Trouba was just elected captain, but we got to send him out for the salary to work. We'll see what the Blackhawks say here. Trade is rejected. I can't believe some of the trades they've honestly turned down so far this video. Again, medium difficulty. Maybe I should have done it on easy, but medium's the default, so usually it's like, you know, the one that makes the most sense. A couple firsts now, they're really going for it. And they say yes. Next year, guys, the Ottawa Senators are offering up Jacob Bernard Docker, Shane Pinto, and a couple 1st round picks. Obviously, these picks are protected. Come on, Blackhawks, say yes. Trade's rejected. Value on the table's too far off. We're probably going to have to add one of the big boys in the top 6. I mean, Giroux we just brought in. Kachuk, Sanderson, Stützle, DeBrincat, Shabbat. They're all like younger. Norris, Batherson. Could also trade out those guys. I guess we could try adding Batherson to this deal. Obviously, this is a huge package for Patrick Kane, but Ottawa immediately becomes like such a better team. See what the Blackhawks say. Trade is rejected. Sweeten the value just a touch. Are you kidding me? All three of these guys are literally together with the first round pick, so I guess we'd have to give up Norris or Giroux instead of Batherson. Doesn't make a lot of sense because he just came in, but we'll try Giroux there with everything else. And they reject it. The value on the table is too far off. I guess instead of Batherson, we'll have to trade Josh Norris here to get Patty Kane. They still say no. Still, the value is just a bit too low. Giroux they don't want. So that means it would have to be Brady Tkachuk, which makes no sense. I guess a big package around Sanderson, take back Bernard Docker and Pinto, just Sanderson there and a couple firsts. There we go. Now next year, guys, the Philadelphia Flyers are offering up Ryan Ellis, Kevin Hayes, and a couple first-round picks. So if Ellis is healthy, obviously he's a very good defenseman, but dealing with some injury issues, basically missed all of last year. Hayes there's a bit of a salary dump, although he had a decent season last year. $7 million still a lot. See what the Blackhawks say to this one. Trade rejected. And now look at the Flyers. We don't really have much else to work with. Provorov slightly more value than Ellis. Couturier doesn't really make sense giving up for Kane. Neither did Draisaitl with Edmonton, but obviously it was our only option after all those other trades. We'll do 3 firsts here with these two guys. And there we go. That actually makes it go through. Now next year, guys, the offer making us the Pittsburgh Penguins is of getting Malkin, Ty Smith, and a first. Maybe Pittsburgh and Malkin are still, upset with each other over those contract negotiations. They need to add a little bit, though, to get Patrick Kane just because the Blackhawks are playing hardball. This seems like more than a fair offer, and I feel like the computer's going to say no here. They do say no. Malkin's only 1 overall lower. I don't even think he's that much older than... Yeah, okay, he's actually 3 years older, but still, they get a good, solid young defenseman in Smith. They get a first-round pick. We'll try adding, I guess, 2 first-round picks to this deal. Still rejected. That is insane to me. You know what? One thing we could do, include Jake Gensel instead. Pittsburgh just goes all in on these next few years, and they decide they're going to go total rebuild, because as Gensel's a lot younger than Pittsburgh's main core there, and Crosby, Letang, and Malkin. So with Gensel, we really should be able to just give up 1 first and Smith. This is more than a fair trade. I feel like Gensel 1 for 1 in real life gets it done. Wow. That's insane that they're saying no to that. So trade values need a little bit of work, because Gensel's not much lower rated, much younger. That should matter a lot more. There you go, with the 2 firsts, they do say yes. And now, guys, with the Sharks offering up William Eklund and Thomas Hertl for Patty Kane. Kane, obviously, a better player than Hertl, so Eklund's a very good prospect to be giving up to close that gap. See what the Blackhawks say. Trades rejected. I'm going to add a first-round pick, because I feel like seconds have not really been doing much with just a couple players. This first, though, the value, they want all 3 things. I think this makes it happen. And it does. Alright, guys, now as the Seattle Kraken, I'm offering up Matty Beniers, Oliver Brookstrand, and Brandon Tanev for Patty Kane. You can see the Blackhawks want all 3 players again. I will say, like, in real life, I think there's no way the Blackhawks don't say yes to Beniers for Kane 1 for 1. Like, the rebuilding team, that is a clear trade. So, again, kind of shows you how the trade values need work. Also, to you guys, if you're wondering why I'm not retaining salary on Kane, the reason is basically anything above, say, 500K is going to make the computer less likely to trade him. And of course, we're trying to get him for the best price possible, so that's the thinking behind that. We'll see what this trade does. I feel like we have to add 2 firsts. Trade was rejected. Value wasn't there at all. We'll just try 1 first to start. Oh, and it's accepted. Okay, I was actually surprised by that. Alright, guys, now the St. Louis Blues are offering up Tarasenko, Zachary Bolduc, a first, and Scandella. Scandella's just there for the salary. Luckily, Blackhawks want him. Hopefully, he doesn't have negative value, so they want everything. We'll see how this goes. Trade is rejected, woefully insufficient. I feel like I get that more often than not. We'll do 2 firsts here. You think St. Louis should be a good team the next couple of years. I'll have to give up, though, to upgrade from Tarasenko to Kane, but obviously we have to. And they still say no, so that means instead of Scandella, we need like an actually good player with some salary. Alright, guys, so I'll try adding Ivan Barbashev there. Makes a little bit of money. Obviously, good player with Tarasenko. And 2 firsts for Kane. Ridiculous. They say yes finally, but it was not worth it. Alright, guys, now next year's the Tampa Bay Lightning. We're offering up Steven Stamkos and a first-round pick for Kane. Only way I could think the Lightning would want to even trade Stamkos for Kane 1 for 1 would be if, for whatever reason, they needed to clear his cap space. You bring in Kane for this year, you can afford, and then obviously the 2 years after that, you're saving $8.5 million. In game, we got to add a first-round pick, which is insane because Kane's only 1 overall higher there than Stamkos, but like when you get to the 90s, that 90 to 91 jump is like a lot bigger than say an 83 to 84 jump. So we'll see what they say here. I feel like it's probably close. Trade rejected. Woefully insufficient. Imagine saying that about Steven Stamkos. The gall on this GM. I'll throw in Philip Myers there because they don't really need what Chicago likes. Trade still rejected. I'll add Nemestikov too, so now the salary's pretty much equal. I should mention too, guys, we're using a 2025 first because Tampa Bay traded away their 2023 and 2024 for Brandon Hagel. See what the Blackhawks say now. Trade is still rejected. So we're going to have to add another first round pick here. Again, this is another scenario where clearly not realistic, but we got to do what we got to do to try and see what it would cost. That goes through. And now next you guys got the Toronto Maple Leafs. As I mentioned at the beginning of the video, Dubas had brief discussions with the Blackhawks about Patrick Kane. I heard some people thinking maybe like a Nylander 1-for-1 trade gets it done. As you can see in-game, Blackhawks are laughing at us. So we're going to have to add a lot more to this deal. Honestly, we could do Tavares, who has more value. And I feel like real life, Nylander probably should because he's younger on a better contract. Even if you think Tavares is like obviously slightly better player, better two-way game. With Tavares, throw in Sandin, who still doesn't even have a contract, and then say like a first-round pick. Actually, maybe we could just get away with like 2 second-round picks here, Sandin, Tavares for Kane. Trades rejected. Okay, so yeah, probably have to throw in a first here. Maybe this gets it done. Still rejected. Could trade Giordano, who obviously is a very solid defenseman, but then sign Sandin with a bit of money we save. And I guess Giordano's a good teacher for the Blackhawks players. And now with that, 2 firsts. Tavares, Giordano, 2 firsts for Patty Kane. This has to go through. There we go. Now next year, guys, are the Vancouver Canucks offering up JT Miller. Maybe they don't like any of the returns that got offered for him, so they figure, screw it, they're just going to flip him for Patty Kane. Also, dumping Myers' $6 million contract and adding a first-round pick. We'll see what the Blackhawks say to this one. Trades rejected. Sweeten the value just a touch. Honestly, this isn't a terrible offer for the Canucks here. Sweeten the value just a touch. That's like a 3rd-round pick, right? Let's not overthink it here. Let's just throw in a 3rd. There we go. Alright, guys, now next year's the Vegas Golden Knights. We're offering up Jack Eichel and a 2nd-round pick for Patrick Kane. Jack Eichel should not have less value than Kane, but that seems to be the case. Like I was mentioning before, just those 1 overall changes in 90-plus players. Like, look at the difference here between Stone and Eichel. Even though Eichel's 5 years younger, has a highly potential, basically identical contracts there. Like, it's pretty ridiculous. So, I don't think this goes through, but I'm willing to try it because I do want Eichel and he is a superstar. Trades rejected. That's crazy. So, looks like it'll cost probably Eichel and a 1st-round pick to trade for Patty Kane. I mean, Vegas always does like the new toy. Patty Kane's on the market. I wouldn't be surprised if Vegas is trying to somehow swing a deal. And they say no! Are you kidding me? Eichel and a 1st for Kane. How are you rejecting that, like, in any world? We'll add Kane Korczak here to this trade. Wow. Throw in the Buffalo 3rd there. Should get to go through. And it does. Now, this next trade for the Washington Capitals, guys, might honestly not be too bad. Nick Backstrom looking like he'll probably miss all next season. Could come back after that. But with the Capitals in win-now mode, obviously they don't have a lot of time to wait. 2 first-round picks. Again, if you're trying to win, who cares about the future? TJ Oshie there is making almost $6 million. He's getting older. He's 35 now in real life. This honestly isn't a terrible trade for Patty Kane for the Capitals, I think. They reject it, okay. 3 first-round picks, a lot to give up, but if you win a Stanley Cup, it's worth it. They say no, okay, so we're probably going to give up either Kuznetsov or Karlsson. They kind of need Karlsson on D, so I guess they go for Kuznetsov. Maybe they find out Backstrom's coming back healthy, and they just want Patty Kane for whatever reason. I feel like 1 first should get it done. Nick Jensen, I'm just going to add there for the salary. See what Blackhawks say. Trades rejected, okay, maybe 2 first-round picks with Kuznetsov to get Patty Kane. Seems like an awful lot. Wow. Dubois, 2 firsts, Morrissey, Wheeler to get Kane. This, of course, without having to give up, like, Scheifele, Ehlers, Connor, or Perfetti. Wow. Now, on top of Dubois saying he wouldn't resign, I know Scheifele said he was open to a trade, so what about something crazy, like Scheifele and Dubois for Patty Kane and Jonathan Toews, who's from Winnipeg? That would be kind of crazy. On top of that, too, we'll send out kind of like a bad contract here. Alright, guys, so the trade offer is Scheifele, Dubois, and Schmidt for Kane and Toews. Getting a little crazy now with this last one, but we'll see what the Blackhawks say. I think they'd be idiots to say no. There we go, okay. That was a big trade at the end there. Toews comes home, but I don't know. If this trade actually happened, the Jets would really have to hope that Kane and Toews not only re-signed with them, but also continue to play well into their mid-30s. But that's going to do it for this video, guys. Hopefully you enjoyed it. If you did, leave that thumbs up. If you guys haven't subscribed yet, hit someone down below. Thank you guys so much for watching. Have a nice day. Goodbye.